So, what do you do when you have hurt others, most especially unintentionally? I remember one time I went to the room of my friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. No, Mandla, Marcelo, and Ezra. These were three friends of mine way back in college. Now they're in different places. But I went to their room. We were staying in the same dorm, and I realized the lights were off and they were watching a concert. They were watching a concert by the Celtic women. Those women sing songs of inspiration and songs of love, and these guys were enjoying. So I joined them, and it was a wonderful concert. Man, I said, can I have a copy of this clip? So they gave it to me after. And the next weekend, I was going to visit my fiancée, who is now my wife. Praise the Lord. And so I wanted to surprise her. When I met her, we were together, and I put on the laptop and I put in this, clip that I had saved in my flash drive, and I wait for her to be surprised. So I began playing, and the Celtic women began playing those songs, and I thought she would be happy, but I did not hear any voice from her. And as I turned and looked at her face, I could tell that something was wrong. In a good relationship, you've got to learn earlier on to read the face of your fiancé or girlfriend, and even much more when it is your wife. And so I could tell she was very upset, and I said, now, I did this for a surprise, something wonderful. But here's what she said. She says, we have not been together for so long, and we just met, and you show me other women, Celtic women, how they sing so well. Is this how we spend time together? I realized I had made a big mistake. I felt so bad, but I said to my intentions were good. I did something to surprise her, but it turned out that she was hurt. So what do you do when you've hurt somebody? Maybe not your girlfriend or your fiancé, but anybody, some people, unintentionally. Others will think maybe I commit suicide. Others will become angry to themselves. They hate themselves. I've seen others go through life. They feel bad about themselves and guilty because of what they have done. But let me tell you, the first thing you should do when you have hurt somebody or other people, number one, forgive yourself. Life is so hard. Don't make it again complicated to yourself. Some people want to live like they are perfect. They can't make mistakes. But you've got to realize that you and I are not perfect. Don't commit suicide. So forgive yourself. How do you do it? Sit down, have a meeting with yourself. And I'm not a psychologist, but I'm just sharing things that worked out for me. Talk to yourself and say, Dan, you're so foolish. You are talking to yourself. You have made a mistake, Dan. Next time you should do better. But Dan, you are not perfect. So it's fine. We can improve. We can become better, okay? Dan, it's fine. It's okay. You are forgiving yourself. You are making peace with yourself. And when you do that, that's a very important step. For how can you love others if you don't love yourself? How can you've got to realize that you have great value in the sight of the Lord. And you've got to realize that there is no mistake, no problem that you fell into that God will never raise you up. So forgive yourself. Number two, ask forgiveness from God. You have hurt one of his children, and talk to God. And this is one of the most powerful steps, because when you turn to God, his arms are always wide open to his repentant children. And you tell him, Lord, it was not my intention. You know my heart, Lord. I pray that you will forgive me. And as you pray for forgiveness from God, also pray for the one that you hurt. Because as you pray for that person, pray that he will also understand and pray that God will soften his or her heart. Because as you pray, reconciliation is beginning to take place now. God is beginning to talk to that person also. So you ask God for forgiveness and also ask God to be with that person, because this is leading to another to the third step, and what I want to call the last step. You have forgiven yourself, you have asked forgiveness from God. The third step, go and ask forgiveness from that person. Learn to say those three powerful words that we don't want to say. I am sorry. I did wrong. Please forgive me. In the life of Jacob, he has made a blunder. For 20 years, Jacob has lived in fear. What has he done? He has hurt his brother Esau. He has hurt his family. But after 20 years, he's returning home. He arrived at the river Jabbok, and he lost courage of crossing that river at the thought of his brother. His brother was so hurt, and he knew his brother would do harm to him. He was afraid of him. But that night, Jacob spent time with God, praying, and he didn't know that God was also wanting so much to spend time with him. You see, this also becomes a privilege, to be reconciled with God, to spend time with God. For he alone can give you power and knowledge to have reconciliation, which is what Jesus desires for each one of his children. So Jacob spent a night with the Lord in prayer. But before he could pray, the Lord was also waiting for him, and a man wrestled with him all night. It was our blessed Lord Jesus Christ. And in the morning, when he realized, he holds on to God and he says, please bless me. Through that night of reconciliation, as Jacob prayed in the morning, he had power and courage to go and face his brother and say, I'm sorry. But here's the good news. Before he could reach there, God had already been there and sent angels to Esau. And by the time Jacob reaches there, God has softened the heart of Esau, and there was a wonderful and powerful reconciliation. Forgive yourself. Ask forgiveness from God, and go and ask forgiveness from the person or from the people that you have hurt. With this kind of attitude, God is in the background. He's working out miracles. And his desire for us is that we will live in harmony and with peace with one another. And this is why Jesus came, so that brothers and sisters and all people can live together in harmony as children of God, preparing to live in heaven together one day as one happy family. Forgive yourself. Ask forgiveness from God. Go and ask forgiveness from that person. Until next time, God bless you.